Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. This is our second IELTS class of today. I hope that everybody's having a good start to their weekend. This class is focusing on the IELTS listening section, and we are going to be doing some listening from one of our exams. The topics will be on warranties and charity. So make sure to follow along, pay attention to the strategies, take notes when necessary. By the way, today is July 1st, which is quite a special day for us here in Canada. Anybody know why that is? So I see that we have Manpreet, Irby, Ramanpreet, Fatima in the class. Carolina, welcome, our chat moderator. And I know a lot of people these days are excited and interested in coming to Canada for work, study, and living. So you should know why today is special for Canadians. Anybody have an idea about that? Of course, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there to get all of our listening exams, strategies, interactive course, as well as help with the other sections of the IELTS exam. Visit us there. Salia says it's Canada Day. That's right. It is Canada Day. Salia, very good. It is the day we celebrate the foundation or confederation of Canada. Awesome. Anybody know how old Canada is today? Let me know. All right. It's Canada Day. It's easy to remember because it's really just 3 days before America's big celebration, Independence Day, on July 4th. So Canada first, it's on the top. Canada Day, July 1st. And then United States Independence Day, July 4th. So today is Canada Day. Today is a national holiday in Canada, as I'm sure many of you can imagine. So again, studying, working even today for your pleasure. But probably I'll take a little bit of a break early or later in the day. And of course, later tonight, it's still very early for me. It's 7:30 for me. And later tonight, at around 10 o'clock, there will be fireworks here in Victoria. Big fireworks show to celebrate Canada Day. Yeah, it's not Independence Day for Canada, Umesh. We don't have an Independence Day. It's just simply Canada Day, which celebrates the Confederation of Canada, where Canada unifies to become one country. We don't actually say it's Independence Day. Independence Day is the United States, where they became separate from Britain, where they are no longer a British Commonwealth. Okay, so Canada does not say Independence Day. That's weird, so don't say that. Okay, so this lesson again brought to you by aehelp.com. This is our website, aehelp.com. Here you will find all the materials that you need to prepare for your IELTS exam, and so that you can immigrate to Canada and study here in universities and celebrate the next Canada Day here in our country. So there you go. Click that big red button to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official IELTS test registration center, certified agents, so you are in great hands with us. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. And again, click that big red button to join our premium IELTS package. We have a new discount code going on. The new discount code is IDEA25. So click here at the top and use this code IDEA25 to get a 25% discount I've already applied it. It's right there. The course is not expensive, it's cheap, and in some countries it's even cheaper, like India, Vietnam, depending on where you live. So check it out. It's definitely worth it. You can use Google Pay and PayPal. They're down below. So visit us on the websites, use our websites. We're going to use the website today for the listening. We're going to access our listening materials there. Okay. Narwhal is asking, what time is it in Canada now? Narwhal, that depends where you are. On the West Coast, it's 7:30. In Toronto, it's 10:30. In Saskatchewan, it's 9:30. So we've got several time zones in Canada because Canada's a big country. So we've got 3 time zones here from East Coast to the West Coast. Students, again, use that code on the website, IDEA25. If you have questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Okay, so that's my email address there. Let me put it a little bit higher for you so you can see it clearly. Any questions, that's where you can contact me, adrian@aehelp.com. And right now, again, we have listening, and then tomorrow we'll have speaking part 2, speaking part 3 lessons. And we just released a new speaking video. Check that out. It's with a candidate. It's her second interview. She scores a band 9. I give you some good tips and strategies in the video to get a band 9. So check out that speaking video. I'll put the link in the chat. Students, this is a subscribers chat class. So if you want to join the chat, do that really simply by subscribing. Okay. So we're going to start the listening here in just a few moments. And before we do, subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to the channel for strategies and live class schedules for IELTS. Okay, and so you can join these chats, these subscriber chat classes. Okay, so all you have to do is subscribe and you're off to the races. Hit the bell button, get notifications on your phone from us as well. Okay. All right, IELTS listening section strategies. Strategy number 1. During the instruction time, review the topics of each of the 4 parts. Okay, so the listening section has 4 parts. And the first strategy, very importantly, is to review each of the topics of the 4 parts. So you're going to hear the audio here in just a moment, okay? And this listening exam is test 5. It's our 5th exam. We have 10 exams. We're publishing exam 7, 8, 9, 10 currently, so those aren't up yet, but they will be in the next couple months as soon as we get all the work done on them. You have test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full exams available already on the website, so you can use those to practice the strategies on the website. This is test 5, so we're going to hear lots of instructions. Okay, 90 seconds. And this is just like in the real IELTS exam. In the real IELTS exam, you will hear about 1.5 minutes of instructions at the very beginning. All right. So, when you hear the instructions, you need to look at the questions and identify the topics. So here, I can see that the word product is repeating. Okay, so I have the word product here and I have product purchased. Okay, so obviously it's about some kind of shopping experience. All right, I can figure that out. Now, while the instructions are going, I want to look at part 2 as well. Okay, and in part 2, I'm going to see the words volunteering and charity, charitable giving. Okay, so I need to focus on those and realize that this one is something about charities and volunteering. Okay, I continue to part 3. And in part 3, I can see that we have first record of trade between nations. Okay, and then if I keep going down, I will notice that this passage has something to do about trade. So free trade, trading products between countries. Okay, I've got the word free trade here and so on. Free trade there. Okay, so that's part 3. So part 1, something about a product. Part 2, something about charities. Part 3, something about free trade. And remember, you have about 90 seconds to do this. It's a very important strategy because your brain will be able to understand the information much better having a little bit of foresight, advanced information before you hear the listening. Okay, so part 4, we have a nice big title in part 4. It's Michelangelo. So here I know that part 4 will be about Michelangelo. If I don't know who Michelangelo is, maybe I'll do a little bit of reading, and I see that Michelangelo is famous for painting the Sistine Chapel. So he's some kind of a famous artist. Okay, all right. New Age Farming is asking, how much does it cost to study in Canada? That's a really good question, and it really depends on where you live. Here in British Columbia and Victoria, it's quite expensive. In some other places, like in Saskatchewan, it's much, much cheaper. So Canada has a lot of different costs for living and for study. So really make sure to check out where you are going. Some places are half as expensive as other places, so be very careful. Okay, so when I'm reviewing this listening, I very quickly realized that part 1 is about a product, part 2 is about charity, part 3 is about trade, and part 4 is about Michelangelo. Okay, that's what I need to do as my first step. Now, let's do the listening. So let's listen to part 1 together. Okay, if you have a headset, I definitely recommend it. It's better. In the computer-based IELTS exam, you will be listening with a headset. We're going over to our website here. Let's go to aehelp.com. In aehelp.com, again, you can join our premium course and get access to all of this listening right there by clicking that big red button. Use that discount code that I just showed you, IDEA25. These exams are exactly like your IELTS exams. Okay, you click on My Student Account. For those of you who already have these products, you will find all of the listening here in the audio CDs. Okay, right there. So you click on audio CDs and boom, there you have your CDs coming down. Now in the audio CDs, this is test number 5. So we go to CD 5 and it's part 1. So there it is, it's listening section 1. If I zoom in, you can kind of see it there. Okay, so there you go. There it is. listening section 1. That's where I'm going to be listening. While we listen, students, answer the questions, but don't put the answers in the chat. That way it doesn't confuse other viewers and it gives everybody a chance to answer on their own, okay? So let's do this. Let's listen. Let's pay attention. You're going to see me go through the topics again just to show you this strategy for the instruction time, okay? And then pay attention. We'll go through the answers and the strategy after we have listened, everybody. So here we go with exam number 5, listening section 1.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 people as one tries to return a defective product. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great.
The man says he purchased the item on July 6th, so this answer has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great. I also need the name of the product as indicated on the receipt.
Certainly. The receipt shows it as SOJO 232XD.
SOJO 232XD?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes. I see the product in my records now. It is a 23-inch computer monitor?
Yes, that's correct.
Now tell me, did you buy the extended warranty on the monitor?
No, I did not. I always feel like those warranties are a bit of a scam.
Perhaps, until you need the warranty?
Perhaps. But there must be some sort of manufacturer's warranty, right?
There may be. Let me check for you. Okay. Yes, it seems there is a manufacturer's warranty. The warranty is for 60 days. 2 months.
Great. Then I shouldn't encounter any problems in returning it.
Well, actually, we only accept returns for a week after purchase. Since you purchased the computer monitor 8 days ago, you'll have to deal directly with the manufacturer.
How annoying. What steps must I take then?
Well, the company that makes the monitor has a depot in Birmingham. You must post it to them.
Okay. Do you have their address?
Yes. It's on Edgbaston Park Road and...
Hold on. You'll have to spell Edgbaston for me. I've never heard of it.
Of course. It is spelled EDGBASTON.
And then the rest of the address?
The address number is 89 and the unit number is 5.
Okay, so 89 Edgbaston Park Road, Unit 5.
That's right. And the postcode is B152RU.
B152RU.
That's right.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Great, but one concern I have is the cost of posting something as large as a computer monitor.
Indeed. Such a product must weigh a few kilos and will certainly set you back some money to post. Let me see if the company takes such a problem into consideration.
Well, that would certainly be nice if they did.
Yes, it seems they do. They have a program in place where they pay postage for the exchange of goods under manufacturer warranty or product recall.
That's great news. What do I have to do to use this service?
It's fairly simple. You just call their Birmingham depot and request a prepaid postage voucher. Then you take the item to the post office along with the voucher, and the post office will take care of the rest.
Sounds simple enough. Do you have a phone number for the depot in Birmingham?
Yes, you can reach them on 0121 496 0633. Oh, and be sure to call during business hours. They're open from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening.
10 until 6, understood. One final question. What would I have had to do to return the monitor if I had purchased the extended warranty from your store?
Well, the process would have been much simpler, sir. You could have simply brought it into the return desk at your local store. We would have given you your choice of a new monitor, your cash back, or store credit in the amount of 110% of the original cost of the item.
110% store credit? Wow, that seems too good to be true.
Well, company policy is that we want satisfied customers, and when they are not satisfied, we feel the need to compensate them for this in some small measure.
Perhaps next time I'll buy the extended warranty. How much would it have cost on the monitor I bought?
Only £20.
£20 would have been well worth it to save me the trouble of dealing directly with the manufacturer.
Well, now you know, sir.
Indeed I do. Thanks again.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, so that half minute is very important. Check your answers, look for spelling mistakes, especially if you're doing the paper-based exam. Okay, look for mistakes with the instructions, like maximum 2 words and or a number. If you have 3 words, it's obviously a problem. Okay, so let's go through this. Now, here I was highlighting the information as we heard it. So hopefully this helped you to understand the pacing of the listening. And this is good exercise to do at home. Now, you can't do this in the actual exam. There's no highlighting. And even in the paper-based exam, you definitely should not be underlining, okay? But at home, when you're practicing, it's good to do it this way, just so that you feel the pacing of the answers, all right? So keep that in mind. This is a good strategy for home practice, okay? Let me make a note of this for you, okay? So strategy 2, for home practice only. Okay, highlight the answers and key information while you are listening so that you become familiar with the pacing of the information and answers. Okay. And The key sentences is what you want to highlight, okay, or key words and sentences. Just like what you saw me do right now, okay? All right. Danelle says, I couldn't catch the words. And Danelle, that happens to people. So if you can't catch the words the first time, then listen again, okay? So if you cannot catch words the first time that you listen, listen again. Okay, there's no point in trying to figure it out if you can't hear the words and the audio. Okay, so let's go back and answer these questions, and I will give you some more tips as we do this. So first of all, you see this example here at the beginning. They said, okay, here's an example. Now, keep in mind, everybody, this is an important note. It's a change from 2020, okay? So there is no example for exams now. The exams before 2020 gave an example at the start, but they removed this now. So if you're learning from some materials that are a couple years old, which are still great, they're still very, very close to the materials now, you will hear this example. In the real exam now, you will not hear this example. So you do not have that bit of extra time. Some candidates actually found the example quite confusing, so IELTS decided to remove that, okay? All right. So here, notice how this was an interesting strategy here, where part one is often about a person needing to do some administration, okay? So keep this in mind. Part one, when I did the IELTS exam, it was a person registering for camping at a campsite, okay? So, and that was a real exam. So part one is often a person that needs to do a task, and for this task, information is needed and is given, okay? So keep this in mind. Okay, so they need information like name, address, phone number, social security number, okay? And so in this case, it's a person that wants to return a product that they're having a problem with. Hopefully you caught that it was a computer monitor. And to do that, the store needs information, and then they can help the person, okay? So here, the strategy that I used is notes. Strategy, note-taking. The requirements, okay? And the requirements, right? So, and the woman says this, and I took these notes. I simply just wrote it down, and you can write down notes in both the paper-based and the computer-based exam. So in the computer-based exam, the vigilators will tell you that you have this piece of paper. The piece of paper has your login information, and you have a pen, and they say that with the piece of paper with your login information can be used as your note paper, okay? So keep that in mind. In the computer-based exam. In the paper-based exam, you have lots of paper, so no worries there, okay? So in the computer-based exam, they also call it the computer-delivered exam. You can use the login and instruction paper to take notes. They will tell you this, okay? So in this case, on that paper, I would have probably written down, the woman says date of product, just very quickly, name of the product, and then the name of that product was SOJO232XD. Okay. All right. So They usually repeat answers in part one at least 2 times. So for a lot of the questions, they will say it twice. And here they did that. So the first question, multiple choice. What product did the man purchase? Okay. Now they don't ask questions in the listening. They give answers. So you purchased the, okay, or so you bought the. So listen for the statement, not the question, okay? And then the correct answer here, Tri Duc Pham says, I think the correct answer is B. And B is the correct answer. Yes, absolutely. And they say it twice. Part one shouldn't be too difficult for most people. So they say B. Simran, Arda, Ali agree. They say, okay, purchase the computer monitor. And the man says, yes, that's correct. I bought that a couple days ago. Now, here's where it got a little bit tricky. The question was, what 2 pieces of information are required to access the record of the purchase? And the woman here said, first, I need, and second, I need something, right? Now, because of my notes, I wrote those down here. Date of purchase, date of the product purchased, and then the name of the product. I know that the correct answer should be the date that the person bought it and the name of the product. Okay. So here we have E, purchase date, and F, name of the product. And this question is 2 questions. It's question 2 and 3, so it's worth 2 marks. Get 1 correct, get 1 mark. Get 2 correct, 2 marks. Okay, so all you would do here in your paper-based exam is in space 3, you could put F, and in space 2, you could put E, or the other way around, doesn't matter as long as they're correct. Okay, so 2E, 3F, you're golden. The way I was able to do that is by writing down the requirements. Okay, because like I said, part 1 talks about requirements. So what is needed for this interaction, right? To exchange this monitor. Okay, now filling in the form is a very, very common type of question for part 1. Almost every IELTS, I want to say, has this type of question. You have this in the computer-based, you have this in the paper-based as well. So, I'm listening for key information, and I helped you here a little bit by highlighting this, okay? So this says complete the notes below. And it says no more than 2 words and or a number. Now, I want to know when this information is coming. So even before the audio starts, while I'm reviewing this information, I'm really paying attention to this piece here, the 60 days. And in fact, the woman actually even paraphrases this. She says, so for 2 months. And he says, so for 2 months. So as soon as I hear this, I know that there's information coming. Now, the other piece, of course, that I could be listening for is this word here, the location. It's Birmingham, right? So the name here is also a good piece of information to listen for. Okay. And then we hear the address. Okay, so then, and the man asks again, part 1, they usually repeat this. So Irby says it's Edge Bastion. They even spell it 89. Now you can use all capital letters. Just remember, students, that writing in all capital letters is a bit slower and it's easier to make spelling mistakes. So number 4, we heard, okay, it's Edge Bastion 89 or 89, Edge Bastion. Park Road. Unit 5. And if they spell it, make sure to carefully listen for the spelling. Okay, so that was the correct answer there. Okay, the postcode. Postcodes, social insurance numbers, they're very, very common. Make sure that you are comfortable listening to numbers in English. It's very important because when you go to school, when you live in an English-speaking country, this will happen to you regularly. So you have to be accurate. Otherwise, you will have all kinds of problems. Okay. Hikmatillo says it's B152RU, and there are a lot of other students who agree. So it's B152RU. B152RU, I'll take your word for it. It sounds like most people agree that it's B152RU. Kastur, it's not I5, it's 1-5. So B152RU. Yeah, postcodes in Canada and in the UK are kind of this 6 series numbers, okay? In Canada, the third one is also a letter. And then the last one is also a number. So it's a little bit different than the UK. Okay, it's not a bad idea to look at postcodes in different English-speaking countries. So this is just a little tip here. You may want to check out the format of phone numbers, postcodes, and addresses in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand before you sit the IELTS. Okay, just a thought. All right, that could help you. So check out the format, and then that way you will be able to catch it easier. Especially check it out at the country where you want to move or go to. Okay, definitely a good idea, right? So especially check it out for the country where you plan to move. Okay, that's a very, very important thought there. Okay. All right, so here you had a little bit of a break, and then you had to look at questions 6 to 10, so hopefully you paid careful attention. I showed you what you should be paying attention to here. So requesting a prepaid. Requesting a prepaid means asking for a prepaid something, okay? What was the answer here? It was actually 2 words, so they say no more than 3 words, but it was actually 2 words here. This was a little bit more challenging. Rohit, very good. And it's number 6, not number 5, Rohit. So really pay attention to the numbers. Arda, very good. It's postage, the adjective. Postage, postage, voucher. Voucher is like a ticket that gets you a replacement or is used instead of money. Okay, so voucher is like a special ticket that's used instead of money. Think about it that way. Okay, when you learn new words in the listening, write it down. Voucher. A ticket used instead of money. Okay. Anybody know another type of voucher that's common? So a postage voucher, that's a common type of voucher. It's not a stamp, it's a little bit different. Okay, so that's a postage voucher. What would be another kind of voucher? Some countries have these vouchers at the government level as well. Okay. It's not a coupon, Truon. Yeah, very good. Hardeep says a gift voucher. Very good. Gift voucher. Yeah. So a gift voucher, you can go to a store and buy a gift voucher. So when you want to give your friend a birthday present, you know they like this store, but you don't know what they want from that store. So you're like, okay, instead of buying them a piece of clothing or a tool or equipment, I'm just going to give them $100 gift voucher for that store. Okay, so that would be a gift voucher. Very nice, Hardeep. That was from Hardeep Singh. Yeah. Any other type of voucher? Sometimes people who have little money and you know, they're in a difficult place in life, they have this kind of voucher given to them by organizations or the government. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to forget new words, and this is what you should do when you're learning. Arda, payment voucher is just basically the definition. So it's not necessarily a type of voucher. It's just that's just very general. That could be any kind of voucher, but there are some specific kinds of vouchers that you come across in society, like postage voucher, gift voucher, not discount voucher, Candy. That's a coupon. Coupon and a voucher, not the same. Okay, very good, Zarina. Food voucher. Very good, Ashang. Ashang Santiago says a hotel voucher. So if you're traveling, for example, and this is where this word could, some of you are probably thinking, why is Adrian telling or teaching me this word? I'm never going to use it. Not true. If you're traveling and you have problems, then, for example, the airline can give you food and hotel vouchers while they fix your flight. Anybody have that happen? So here's an example sentence. The airline gave me food and hotel vouchers because they made a mistake with my flight booking, and I had to stay an extra 2 nights in Paris waiting for a connecting flight. Okay, so when you're doing the listening and you learn new words, don't just ignore them. Don't be like, oh, who cares? I didn't know that one. Next. Don't do that, okay? That's not a good way to learn, and that's not a good way to improve, because you never know. You might go to your listening exam, and your listening exam will be about a person who has a flight delay and they need to get hotel and food, and the airline is giving them hotel and food vouchers while they get put on a different flight, okay? So words are important. All right, so the airline gave me a food and hotel, or gave me food and hotel vouchers because they made a mistake with my flight booking, and I had to stay an extra 2 nights in Paris waiting for a connecting flight. Clear, focused, everybody's paying attention? Yes, good. Number 7, pay attention to phone numbers. Okay, phone numbers. A lot of people are like, who cares? Mobile phones, we just send each other text messages. Yeah, no. Phone numbers are also important to listen to. Okay. In society, don't just depend on technology, because if it's suddenly not available, you can be in trouble. So what is the phone number given by the woman for the man to call this depot? Irby says 0121 496 0633. Rohit says 0121 496 0633. Thank you, Carolina, for enabling those answers, because of course Google is automatically blocking those. They're scared that people are revealing private information. And the exception here is this. Okay, so I just copy pasted the most popular answer. I think that's the answer. One way to do great listening practice, everybody, is to do it in groups. So if any of you are taking IELTS classes, physical IELTS classes, and you go somewhere like to a school and you're doing listening, hopefully you do group exercises, okay, where you discuss your answers and figure out who's right and why, okay? So keep this in mind. If you are studying for IELTS in a group, do exercises for listening where you compare and debate your answers. Okay, so I got this answer, I heard it was 633, or I heard the word double three, so you compare it. Okay, this is the correct answer. All right, question number 8, some more multiple choice. Multiple choice questions are very, very common. You have to listen for the answer, okay? And sometimes you have to do a bit of thinking. So here, the answer, what is it? Number 8, for how many hours is the depot open each day? Kasturi says number 8 is 6. No, that would be incorrect anyway, because you'd have to say A, Kasturi, always the letter for multiple choice. Simran says the answer is B, 8. Rohit says it's B, which is 8. Irby, you have to choose the letter, right? So you'd have to choose A, and it'd still be wrong. Yukfam says it's B. The correct answer is B. Why? How do we know that? What information? Do they say it's open for 8 hours a day? No, they don't. That would be too easy. Irby, no need to apologize. It's all good. I'm just letting you know how to do it right. Rohit says they say it's open from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Yes, Rohit, very good. 6 p.m., that equals 8 hours. Right? Because 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. So you have to figure that out, okay? Careful, multiple choice, it's thinking questions. So if you're just listening without thinking, it's hard to get a high band score, okay? All right, number 9. Which 3 options are customers given? And I highlighted this, or I looked at this while I was reviewing, and I was like, okay, 3. So again, I took some notes. These were my notes. Okay, so my notes, brought it in. You can take in your monitor. You get a new monitor. You get your cash back. You get 110% credit. 110%? More than what I paid for it? Are you kidding me? So what were the answers? A, exchange for a new item. Yeah, that one, you know, new monitor, new item, same. 100% store credit, no. Postage, no. Cashback, that looks good. Now this is just one question, so you have to get all 3 of these correct to pick up one question. In the computer-based exam, it would just be a checkbox. So you check A, check D, and then check E. Those were the correct answers. A, D, E. Arda got it. Hikmatillo got it. Hardeep got it. Very nice. If you get one of these wrong, the whole question is marked wrong. You have to get all 3. Okay. Number 10. Last one. The woman mentions an item that costs £20. What is this item. So you're listening for this number, 20 pounds, especially. Okay? And they mention it a couple of times. The correct answer here, extended warranty. Students, use logic. Okay? So computer monitors do not cost 20 pounds. Okay? Manufacturer's warranty is free. So the extended warranty is what costs 20 pounds. Okay? Even if you don't hear the answer, you can use logic, right? You can still use logic to figure it out. Okay, so here, computer monitors don't cost 20 pounds. They cost a lot more, even a used one. Okay, and obviously this was a new one. All right, manufacturer warranties are free. Okay, you don't pay for a manufacturer's warranty. All right. So B is the only correct answer here. Got it? Think carefully. IELTS is a thinking exam. Okay? This is my final note for this one. IELTS is a thinking exam. Especially for band scores over 6. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, students, so how did you do on that? What did you get from 10? Okay, how was your score? Arta says 10 out of 10. That's awesome. Rohit says 8 out of 10. Me KY says 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Students, for part 1, your goal should be 9 from 10 or more. So if you want to get a high band score, okay, for a high band score, you need to be getting consistently 9 or more from 10 for part 1, because it is the easiest part of the listening test. No questions there. Okay, now if you got a little bit less, like if you got 8 or 7, it's not the end of the world. You can still get an okay score, but you don't want to lose on easy marks. Okay, all right, now that we're on a roll, let's do part 2. Now, you see this in this exam, it says section 2. The exams now, they say part 2. Okay. So let's do this. Let's listen to part 2. And you notice part 2 is a dialogue. So there's 2 people as well. Usually part 2 will be a dialogue. Part 2 will sometimes even have 3 people. Okay. So let's get our listening ears ready. Let's get focused. Back to our website, aehelp.com. For those of you who have access to our website, this is CD5, and I will play the audio for you. Here we go. Don't put your answers in the chat. We will share them afterwards together. So here we go. Listening section 2.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a radio news magazine discussing the importance of doing good in the community. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Emma Robertson, and I'd like to welcome our listeners to Beyond the Lens, the programme that aims to dig deeper on issues in culture and society. Today we have Professor Hudson McMahon from the University of Bristol's Department of Social Policy. Hello, Professor McMahon. Do you want to tell us a little about what you'll be presenting today?
Of course, Emma. But first, I'd like to thank you for having me on the show. My wife and I are both avid listeners of Beyond the Lens, and it's a bit of a thrill to be on the show. But I digress. Today, I want to talk about the importance of doing good in the community and in society. There are many ways of doing this, but the two most common ways are volunteering and giving to charity. However, these methods of improving community and society have an important difference. While volunteering one's time is almost always a positive for society, giving to charity is significantly more problematic.
Problematic, Professor McMahon? It would seem to me that giving to charity is always a positive for society. We celebrate those among us who are the greatest donors to charity.
Yes, and in general, it is warranted. I do want to clarify. In general, giving to charity is good, but one must be very careful for two reasons. First, some charities do not do sufficient amounts of charitable good per pound. And second, some charities receive too much money that could be spent better on other causes. Let me discuss each of these in turn.
This seems to me a rather radical thesis.
It seems that way, but I hope to convince you otherwise by the end of the program. Now, getting back to charities. Some charities simply do not give a lot of their received monies to the actual performance of good acts. For instance, some charities utilize less than 10% of their donations on actual charitable activities. The rest goes to salaries, promotion, and other overhead costs. So for a donation of £100, it may be the case that less than £10 actually goes to helping someone.
That sounds terrible, but it still helps people, right?
Well, yes, but as charitable givers, we should try and reward those charities who do most good with the least amount of money. By that I mean that those thinking of donating to charity should do research on a charity before giving to the cause. There are other charities where more than 50% of donations go to the end cause. These charities are much more deserving of your patronage.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Another reason to be discerning when it comes to your choice of charities is what I call the relative utility of a charitable donation.
Let me take a guess here, Professor McMahon. Is the relative utility of a donation how much good it does relative to other donations?
That's just about it, Emma. The relative utility of a donation is how much good a donation does per amount spent. For instance, the disease MND, motor neuron disease, was in the news in recent years, and MND charities received a windfall of donations. This sounds all well and good, but there is a problem. Unlike, say, heart disease, MND does not affect very many people. While it would be wonderful to cure the disease, there are better allocations of our limited charity funds.
Wait, so you're saying it was bad for people to give to MND charities?
Not quite. Only that it was suboptimal. Because there is a limited supply of money given to charity each year, it is important that it is used at least somewhat optimally. And allocating overwhelming amounts of money to a disease that affects very low percentage of people is extremely suboptimal.
That's very interesting, Professor McMahon. So how can our listeners try and optimise their charitable gifts?
First of all, don't be caught up in viral social media campaigns. Instead, use such moments to remind yourself of the importance of giving to charity in general, and not just to niche causes with good promotion. And second, do your research. Before you donate, look up how much of a charity's donation go to the actual end goal. Additionally, look up how many people are affected by the charity's end cause. The more people there are affected, and the worse they are affected, the more likely you should be to donate to that cause. It is all about maximizing good in the world.
That certainly sounds like a noble goal, but if everyone donates...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, let's check our answers, everyone. We'll just hop back to our resource on the website, stop the audio, and then we will do this together. Okay, so again, I was showing you how you should think about this, okay? So what kind of information you want to pay attention to, what kind of logic you should be using. If you're simply just trying to catch words in the listening section of the IELTS exam, that's not going to work, okay? The IELTS is much more than just catching words. It's not an ESL exam. It's a English proficiency exam. Okay, so using English and thinking, right? All right. So what is the name of this show? They actually repeat the name of the show 2 times. Okay. What is the name of this radio show? The woman says it when she introduces the show at the beginning, and then the man says it again, says, thank you for having me on the show. Okay, Arda, very good. Arda says, beyond the lens of the camera, right? Camera lens. So it's beyond the lens. Now, Arda, unfortunately, you'd still get that answer wrong because you need to have this L as a capital letter. And you need to have the B as a capital letter as well, because those are parts of the name. So beyond the lens, capital B and capital L, beyond the lens, like that. Okay, a little bit trickier. This is kind of, fishing for that band 9 person as well, a little bit. Shani, welcome to our members. Send me an email so I can hook you up with your exclusive videos. Okay, that's really cool that you joined our members. If for this class you need to be a member or you need to be a subscriber to join the chat. So now we have this type of question, and this is 4 questions here, and you have to choose A if it's volunteering, B if it's charity, and C if it's neither. So A if it's volunteering, you put the letter A, B if it's charity, and C if it's neither. Now, of course, here it's very important that you understand the difference between a charity and volunteering. Volunteering is when a person gives their time for free to help society. Charity is when a person gives money or a possession to help society, like donating toys to children. Okay, it's charitable. All right, so these are different words. So, A, volunteering, B, charity, C, neither. First one, logic affects few people, not many people, but maybe inefficient. Correct answer. Volunteering, charity, or neither. Nepali says B, few people. Neither of these. It's C. So correct answer for the first one is neither. Neither charity nor volunteering affects few people. Volunteering maybe less people, but it's very efficient. Charity affects a lot of people and could be inefficient, but it's not few people. Okay, so the correct answer here is C. Okay. Number 13, can be problematic for various reasons. I really hope everybody got this because the man talks about this for almost all of part 2. This is B. Okay, you should not, if you're paying attention and you're actually hearing what they're saying, you should not get number 13 wrong. Okay, the man says charity could be a problem for this reason, that reason, and that reason. So lots of discussion about why charity can be problematic. So number 13 is a very clear B. Is almost always a positive action. That one is volunteering. A. Again, logic, everybody. Use logic. So if I'm giving my time to help children or to pick up garbage, how is that ever going to be bad for society? If you go out and you plant trees and you volunteer to pick up garbage and you volunteer to give food to people, yeah, you might say, well, what if the tree grows up and it falls on somebody's house? Okay, sure. But realistically, right? It's pretty much always a positive. Before that tree falls on somebody's house, it's going to provide a lot of shade, fresh air, and a lot of other good elements to nature. So the tree is good. Okay, sorry for the person whose house it fell on. So volunteering is pretty much always good. Okay, so if you want to do or take positive action, volunteer. Giving money is good. Volunteering is even better. Subject to many overhead costs. B. Number 13, number 15, they're kind of the same, right? One is problematic, the other is the problem. Overhead costs means extra expenses. What are those expenses? Advertising, paying for people's salaries. And here was the question. Okay, so number 16, you had to choose 2 letters. They had to be correct, and you had to choose them from 5 choices, so it's quite tricky. And again, I took some notes here. So for these multiple choice questions where you have several choices, okay, I always take notes. So the man is saying, okay, well, they spend too much money. They don't give all the money to help people, so they're inefficient. Why not? Because they pay for salaries and less than $10 from $100 goes to the actual cause. Okay, so what were the best answers for the reasons they are inefficient? A, they must pay salaries of employees. And B, they advertise, right? It says they advertise. They give less than 10%. Didn't say that. It says 10 from 100. That is 10%. It's not less than 10%. Okay? Or even if they said that, it's not the actual reason, but that's the inefficiency. The reason for the inefficiency is they spend the money on advertising and on paying the employees. Okay? All right, now this flow chart, I showed you what was going on here with my notation. So basically, you have 2 directions here. You have heart disease as the example, and then on this side, you have a different example. Okay? All right, so here are my choices, and I'm looking for another kind of sickness. I've got 2 choices. I've got F, MND, and I've got G, cancer. But I don't hear anything about cancer, so I only hear about MND, right? So I know that number 17 is F. And for those of you who paid attention, you got that. Namchan got that. Sudarashan got that. Now make sure, students, that in your answer sheet, if you're doing the paper-based exam, you don't write MND, but you write the letter F, okay? If you write MND, you could get that wrong. All right, now heart disease, that affects many people. So number 18, MND affects few people. Correct answer there is A. Very good, Arda. Yeah. So this is kind of like a comparative graph, right? MND to heart disease, many to few. Good use of funds, bad use of funds, okay, or poor use of funds. So I'm going to look for that for number 19. Hopefully you got that. Okay, so number 19, something like bad or poor. Here's a close match, inefficient. So B. Okay, so the correct answers here are F, A, and B. 3 letters, 3 marks. Hopefully you got that. Okay, follow the flow chart. Pay attention to these lines. They are important. Okay, so it's a flow chart, and that's how a flow chart works. Okay, they're giving you that connection. Those lines mean that these ideas are connected. Okay. All right. Hopefully you're with me so far and it makes sense. Okay, and now question 20. According to the guest, what is the main goal? This is a very important word here, main goal. Not just the goal, but the main goal. Okay, so what is the main goal? And here you can listen for the emphasis here, right? So what is the main goal? And think about it. If you are, okay, let's do it like this. If I'm giving to charity, what's my main goal? This is logic, right? Again, I'm just showing you logic, okay? If I give to charity, and IELTS is a logical exam, okay? And they give you the truth. Their listening is based off of research and current science. If I give to charity, what is my main goal? So if I have $5 and I want to give $5 to charity, is my main goal to do research? Is it the importance of giving to a good cause, or is it to maximize good? What's your main goal? Doing the research, giving to a good cause, or maximizing the good? Irby says it's still my answer, good cause. I would say C, maximizing the good. Arda agrees. So Arda, notice that your answer and what you said, your logic, was different. Go with your logic, okay? IELTS will match your logic. So the correct answer here is C, okay? Believe me, if you feel, hey, yeah, if I have $5 to give to some charity and I can do the most good by giving it to cancer research, then you know what? Here's my $5. If I can help 10 people, not just one person, then that's what I'm going to do, okay? Oh, sorry, Arda said, no, I said C at first too. Okay, Arda. Yes, I see that. My bad, Arda, my bad. So C, and the person, so pay attention to enunciation, okay? This speaker actually says most important is maximizing good in society. Actually says maximizing good in society, right? So even intonates it. In English, we really intonate important information. So when you hear the main goal, you will hear him intonate that, like the main goal, okay? All right, how did you do out of 20? What did you get from part 1 and part 2? How did you do? What did you get out of 20? Arda, 19 out of 20 is fantastic. Okay, your goal, students, should be let's say 16 or more for part 1 and 2. If you're getting under 16 for part 1 and 2 combined, listen again. See where you made those mistakes. Look at the transcripts, right? Shadeep, 18 out of 20 is pretty good. Romario, 17 out of 20 is not bad at all. Madina Bonu, 7 out of 10 for part 2 is okay. All right, that's an okay score. Just make sure you do really well on part 1. Okay, 7 or 8 for part 2, 3, 4 for each of those, not bad. Triduk Pham, 16 out of 20, acceptable. Chayan Kip, 14 is a little low. It's a little low. You've lost 6 marks before you even got to part 3 and part 4. And part 3 and part 4 are more difficult. Okay. So students, you want to listen again until you get up to that 16, 17, 18 out of 20 for part 1 and part 2. Get all of our listening exams. Use the code IELTS 9. Learn from good exams. Use the code IELTS 9 for a 25% discount on the website. So we were taking this test from our website, aehelp.com. This website, the homepage will look like that. Okay, and all you need to do to join us is to click that big red button that's just above my head there. So you click that button. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. We're an official IELTS test registration center, certified agents. We're now IDP partners as well. You're in great hands with us. General IELTS, gieltshelp.com looks like this. Click that big red button there. Okay. And join us there. We will do part 3 and part 4 of this listening test next week, probably on the same day, on Friday. So next Friday, part 3 and part 4 are coming. Okay. Tomorrow we will have speaking part 2 and speaking part 3 for everybody. If you have a question, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. And again, definitely join us on our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Thank you so much, members. Thank you so much, subscribers. This was a subscribers chat class. If you haven't yet, definitely subscribe to our channel, hit the bell button, and have a great rest of your day. I wish all of you a fantastic evening, day, noon, wherever you are. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria. Bye for now, everybody.